Hey, this is Chris with Chris's Comments, discussion of common ground, common sense, no matter what the subject. This subject, I'm going to skip the long intro. This subject is freedom of speech. And I really wanted to look into it deeply and further into it because there's so many different levels concerning this subject, politically, socially, media-wise. There's just a lot of people that are being looked at and scrutinized and examined and under the microscope. So I picked a celebrity that has been chosen for this subject. She's had a real good cult following for a while, myself included. Her name is Gina Carano, and right now she's being scrutinized. And at the same time, people are defending her, saying that she's that everybody's trying to destroy her for what she said. And that's where we're coming up with here. Taking a look at what she said. Back in November of 20, she wanted the laws to be put in place to protect us against voter fraud. Because this is concerning the election, the 2020 election. Well, we're now in February 2021, and so far all those claims of voter fraud have already been debunked, and she still won't take that statement down, and that's fine. That's her decision. Another thing that she said, Democratic government leaders, the DGL, now recommends we all wear blindfolds along with masks so that we can't see what's really going on. There's a lot of theories as to what everybody thinks is really going on. Right now, we're under a problem concerning a pandemic. This was also in November of 2020. Almost a full year had passed. 3/4 of a year had passed since the beginning of the pandemic, and the problems that came with it concerning masks. They know to wear it now. Then they didn't know to wear it, and now they're saying to wear it, leading up to a mandatory mandate that we should wear it. So by the time November came, this statement to come up with, well, I don't want to wear it, and what's really going on is that you guys don't know what you're doing, and that this might even be a hoax or whatever, wherever that leads to, that can't see what's really going on, wherever that goes. She's in trouble for saying that, and a lot of people are pretty much, upset and everything, and there's people coming to her defense saying that they're trying to destroy her and all this stuff. Well, speaking from a little guy from San Antonio, Texas, her home state, just a normal, average, everyday guy, I'm a rideshare driver. I'm in between pickups right now. I work for a living, no differently than everybody else out here, no differently than the cars that you see driving behind me in the back. We all work for a living. Some of us paycheck to paycheck. We're the lowly people. We're the minimal of minimalists of people. And speaking as one of them, well, we can honestly say that whatever you're looking at it through a left perspective or a right perspective, it doesn't matter. What matters is that this is a truly tasteless comment to say, while 500,000 people are infected and many people are dying. Oh, correction, 500,000 people are now infected. Back then in November of 2020, we had a 250,000 or 170,000, something like that. And while people are dying, the government is making a mandate to look over everybody. And this is what gets popped up. Oh, you're just trying not to make us see what's really going on. Ugh, that's tasteless, okay? That's something that every douchebag from Glenn Pecker to Rush Slimeball, rest in peace, Rush Slimeball, and everybody in between. That Ben Shapiro, the person that interviewed her, giving her a chance to say, it's all opposed to, it's all in opposition based off of a conspiracy theory or based off of some theory that I can't be proven wrong and all this stuff. Yeah. Those are some good points. But it's still a tasteless comment to say, regardless as to whether or not you're even correct. Which so far, given the fact that you're not correct about the debunked voter fraud, I think it's safe to say that you're not correct about what's really going on. And to spit on the deceased, those whose lives are already lost, that's just tasteless, And now we're going to get to the serious, what's considered very, 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 very serious. She brought up a statement. She posted a picture of a Jewish woman being run down through the streets, being assaulted through the streets. And she was being assaulted by children who had these, who were following whatever hate point of view that led them to do this. They were under the influence. No child thinks, hey, let's go beat up the Jews in the name of justice. That has to be taught. We all know this. But she posted up a picture of this, quoting, Jews were beaten in the streets, not by Nazi soldiers, which is wrong, but by their own neighbors. That is correct. But the correct form of that very first statement, the very first sentence, not by Nazi soldiers. No, they were done by Nazi soldiers. Follow it with their own neighbors. Those neighbors were the ones that were believing in the Naziist propaganda, in the Nazi propaganda, backed up with soldier might. So, that very first statement is just wrong. Jews were being beaten in the streets not by Nazi soldiers, but by their own neighbors, even children. Okay. That's taking a picture for face value. And that's wrong. It's wrong to do that. She continues, because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, now she's acknowledging Nazi soldiers, can easily round up thousands of Jews. The government first made their own neighbors hate them simply for being Jewish. Okay, well, the government didn't first hate them. They did it alongside them. Okay? They did it alongside the government. They made the citizens hate the Jews alongside their political views. Okay? How else do they get that angered? They got to be influenced into that. But nobody's going to be stepping up unless they've got the backup. Everything in history can say that. Everything in history proves that. History proves that. This wasn't them acting on their own accord. So let's get that rubbed out right now. Let's get that pushed out of the way right now. I'm lowering the window, throwing it right out the window right now, because that's just BS. Okay? Because history is edited, most people don't realize that to get to the point where Nazis could do this, the government made their own neighbors hate them. How is that any different from hating somebody for their political views? Well, in all out honesty, it's not. But at the same time, it's not in the way that you're trying to express it. It's not in the way that she's trying to express it. And the reason why I say this, okay, after reviewing all of this, first, the laws that protect us against voter fraud, it's been debunked, plain and simple. And without the people making that claim, providing proof, physical evidence, doing nothing but claiming there is evidence, but never taking it to the court of law for the law to see and make that judgment, it's just nothing but a thing that's debunked. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. The second one, too. The quote was obviously meant to be witty. The Democratic leaders recommends us to wear blindfolds along with the mask. Yeah, funny. But it was still tasteless. It was witty, but it was still tasteless. It was bad no matter what class of society the person said it was from. Plain and simple. A celebrity, a wealthy guy, a reporter, a journalistic interviewer like the one that was interviewing her, that Shapiro dude, Glenn Beck, anybody from Fox, anybody from MSNBC and CNN, anybody trying to be witty at the point of expense of victims is, even though the victim is not the target, that's still tasteless, and that still makes the person a worthless douche. And as far as the third one goes, it's just a messed up way to make a point. I mean, seriously. Yeah, the entire segment there. And it was also politically incorrect. As I've stated, as I've broke that down. The picture shows what happened when political views influence the hate out of people to lead to those kinds of attacks. That is really politically incorrect when you try to use that picture in defense of what you're saying, when you're the one that's not the victim. Carano is not the victim. She chose to stay with the debunked theory. She's choosing to remain with her statement of how tasteless it was, despite the fact that it was a witty thing to say. That was a smart alecky thing to say. Yeah, good for you. Congratulations. But she chose to do this around the time that people are actually dying, while the government is struggling to keep more people from dying. It's just tasteless. This is no victim because she's choosing to stand by that belief and that quote, that witty remark. And if she's claiming that she has nothing like this. If that's really true, if she really is this humble-natured person, then it's pretty obviously that she's one of those kids, metaphorically speaking, figuratively speaking, she's one of those kids in that picture that's going by some influence of hate to believe that it's okay to be witty enough to spit on the deceased, to spit on the efforts of the government trying to keep us from dying. She's one of those kids that are following the influence of hate if she literally believes to choose to follow a theory that's already been debunked and continuously debunked. As sure as those that make the accusation still will not come up with the proof in a court of law to make that a correct theory. She's choosing to follow this. She's no victim here. And it's a really messed up way to do this kind of thing, to make a point. You know, she's not the victim in this. She's one of those angry kids. And that's the problem, which leads straight to the freedom of speech argument. Her rights are not being taken away for being a douche. She's just being labeled a douche. Okay? And as far as that whole George Lucas, Democrats, Biden, Hillary, all of those people trying to destroy her. Look, I'm sorry, but you earned your right to use your freedom of speech, and your usage of freedom of speech led to an abuse of freedom of speech, which is earned you the right to get fired. You earned your right to get fired, lady. You know, and that's coming from me, one of your former fans. You broke my heart, you know, doing this. And that's A-okay. You made your stand. And that's good. That means my love can go to somebody that's actually cherishable. So go on. And the rest of you out there who are thinking that this is all part of destroying her, no, screw that. Those of you who are unsure as to whether or not this is all a part, wait a minute, is that pitching into destroying her? No, not really. No. Because look at the ranks that she's now going to be joining now that she is this celebrity athlete entertainer. Okay? She's going up there with Chuck Norris, who spat on homosexual kids in schools with this whole, schools today are gay. They're too gay. They're too gay. He spat on children who were admitted homosexuals amongst their classes, who really don't give a flying what who really don't care, because it has nothing to do with their GPA. Hating them has nothing to do with whether or not they're going to get into college, or if they have a future at all. Some of them might be juveniles with a juvie record, and they've got more important pressing matters to work on. But people are hating on public schools because of kids that are permitted to say they're homosexuals, and they're following dudes like Norris, you know, and he's still famously rich. So you know Carano's gonna be okay. All those people of hate are just gonna back her up. They're going to go fund me her. They're going to buy whatever product she wants to sell. She's going to do a little talk show. Everybody's going to watch. All the haters are going to love her for speaking this bullshit, for spewing the rhetoric. She's going to be fine, you know. Norris, all the other talk shows and everybody else. I'm running out of time here. That's why I froze, and I'm trying to work to a close. She's gonna be fine. I'll lead to the conclusion here. Freedom of speech is wonderful. Okay? When it's used to influence others to do bad things, that's called abuse of freedom. We all know this. The definitions and the meanings of this form of abuse is always measured on a balance scale of justice. We all know this. We use that scale of justice on a wide variety of measurements. Okay, from rules of thumb on a wide amongst society, to all the way to acts of criminality, and everywhere in between. We all know this. This is how we use the scale on a wide variety of measurements. Carano, she used her freedom of speech. That was a form of abuse. Those statements, those particular 3 statements were a form of abuse. She earned her right to get fired. And she's not going to be destroyed. As sure as there are people who back her up 100% in this. She's not going anywhere. She's not going to be withered down to nothing. She's still going to be the same beautiful woman that somebody like me is going to be very hard to turn away from. and I'm probably gonna, given where she stands. But she's still gonna be noticer. She's still gonna be that one lady that, for all the reasons that you love her for, she's still gonna be here. But that's our take right now from this lowly little person here on the South. I noticed a lot of people are speaking over in the West Coast and East Coast, up north, but very little people are speaking down here in the South. They're sort of following the podcasts instead of voicing their own opinions. So that's where this comes up from. That's where this show comes from. Common sense, common ground, no matter what the subject. You guys keep doing what we do down here. If you live down here, keep doing what you're doing. If you don't live down here, you're actually being a Texan. You just don't know it. We all try to live happy with as little headaches as possible. Thank you so much for your time. Y'all take care of yourselves. Keep on keeping on. Chris out.